Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. You always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
See, I don't know about y'all, but like for real, I don't mind being talked about. My problem come in when they start making stuff up. So you can talk about me all you want. It is what it is. You know, it's either I did it or I didn't. I said it or I didn't. Whatever the case is, I don't care. I let whoever think whatever, feel whatever. That's on them. You know what I'm saying? But it's the making up part. It's the lying part. It's the adding on to part that always get me. I don't mind being talked about. It's when y'all start lying that bothers me.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
I'm Jennifer Santinello, and this is Layla. She's my firstborn child. She's the child that made me a mother. If my girl is out there somewhere, I would like for these stories to reach her. She seems to have vanished, and we have been investigating her disappearance for almost 3 months now. We need more eyes on her story. We need to shine a light and get her story out of just this small town that it's in. I am here to implore you to share and talk about our girl. If my girl is no longer with us, I would like for those who know what happened to her to feel the pressure.
What inspired you to this particular case?
I'm always interested in stuff like this. Obviously, talking to you about the Summerwell stuff like that, I'm always trying to be on the right side and help people that are hurting. But her being local, and like I told her, my son's 25 and Layla ain't too much younger, so
Yeah,
it could be anybody from Kingsport. It's the way I look at it, you know?
Yeah.
And more people should be here helping her as far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
Many of us came from all over the country to help Jennifer Santinello look for her daughter. Can you help? If you know something, say something.
Summerwell
Wells went missing on June 15th, 2021. She disappeared from her home at 110 Ben Hill Road in Hawkins County. On her 2-year milestone, we placed this banner on the side of the road. Since she went missing, she hasn't been heard or seen from again. While I was visiting the area, I saw Don Wells working on his truck and asked him if he'd come down and speak to me, which he did. Don Wells and I had a conversation about his daughter Summer Wells and information related to her disappearance. Don Wells maintains that somebody came on the property and took his daughter away. He still believes after all this time she has been abducted. His family came under heavy scrutiny, but they've maintained their innocence. One thing Don Wells told me is that they have no new leads into anybody that could have been responsible or is responsible for the disappearance of his daughter Summer Wells. Many people across this country want to know what happened to Summer Wells. Where is Summer? If you have any information related to the disappearance of Summer Wells, you are asked to call 1-800-TBI-FIND.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
What is up, my crazy people of YouTube and Twitter? We're going to be killing the feed Twitter here this morning, but I did want to say good morning to all of my beautiful people over on the Twitter feed. Come on over here to the YouTube feed. So we'll see you guys really, really soon. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you. So today we're going to be going over a few different things. We've got an update on Michael Thompson's situation from yesterday. We came live here because I didn't want people going nuts on the streets of YouTube or other social media, saying that this was associated with Layla Santinello. It was a, is related to substances. But it wasn't just that. It wasn't just the substances. It was more serious than that. So we'll go over that here shortly. We got some updates on Brian Koberger. We've got updates, obviously, on Crystal Rogers and the Houck case. And we're still diving into the connection. And somebody had sent me an email. We're going to go over some information related to that. And I did pull some articles up. I haven't had a chance to read them, and I thought maybe we would read them together this morning. So again, good morning, TGIF. Guys, we've made it to the end of the week. Dun, 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 dun. Right? Do I have one on there? I don't think I do. No, I don't. That's the one I got. Not the one I'm looking for. Elsie Ward, the first to say good morning to Betty and chat. Good morning, love, followed by our beautiful Sonia. Second thesis 310. Good morning, love. It's nice to see you up in the house today, followed by the real me too. The real me too. I got your card. Thank you. Thank you so much. I was meaning to call you, but I was on the phone literally all day yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to really do a whole lot. Southern Grammy Wolf, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Jeanette, it's nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. If you guys haven't noticed coming in this morning, you should have had a commercial. Yay! Yay, yay, yay. Actually, we probably should do the crowd. There we go. Okay, I can get it set up anytime soon. All right, calm down, folks. Calm down. Calm down. We made it. We made it. Ronnie, it's nice to see you. Joined by it looks like Twitter, and I just killed the feed to Twitter. So hopefully you come over here. Ronnie, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Mary, it's good to have you. Angie, good morning. I'm so sorry, the person who ever joined on Twitter. It's nice to see you. Come on over. Jennifer or Jessica, good morning. It's nice to see you. And I believe we've got everybody that's up in the house today. So many of you know, here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, the ones that are new, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to change the bell to all, so you get all the latest and greatest. We're going to be here for just a little bit as we get our main account worked out, and not just worked out. They're fighting me for this stupid stuff, just to screw with the account. Not that the information isn't already out there, just to screw with the account, which I find just appalling. But hey, whatever. We'll play their games for a little bit, but it's not going to stop us because we're the Bullhorn Betty channel. So December 15th is Fall in Love with Life. Let me take my background off. I might be having some glitchy stuff. It might be working just fine on your end, but it drives me nuts on my end. And it's not like I've got a whole huge mess behind me. So I guess we can do that. So it says, Fall in Love with Life. I was sitting in the chair at the beauty shop getting my hair cut one day and listening to the beautician chatter away. She showed me a picture of one of her friends, a woman who had gotten married and recently had a baby. She had been so in love since the child was born, she said, showing me pictures of her new mother's smiling face. In love with her husband, I asked. No, she said. Well, that too. I mean, in love with life. Okay. Have you ever been in love and had your heart beat fast when you anticipated the call of your lover, felt that way the sun felt the way the sun felt on your warm face? The sky appeared bluer, the clouds more fluffy, the sunset more grand. What if you could fall in love with your life and feel that way each day? I'm not saying romantic relationships are bad. They're not. They're part of being human and getting our needs met. But what if we take all of that passion and focus it into falling in love with life? Maybe that's what it's meant by the universal love. Maybe that's the part we give back. Fall in love with your life today. God, help me feel passionate about my life and all the possibilities that stretch out before me. I love it. It's really just ownership of your life, being comfortable in your own skin and being thankful for everything that you have. We don't always have everything that everybody else has, but do we have enough? Are we truly, fulfilled? And sometimes you just have to be fulfilled. You may have an attitude with gratitude. Fake it until you make it. Every day that you look around and you find 15 things to complain about, when you hear yourself start that complaint, you have to start saying 15 things that you're thankful about. I tell you, those types of little changes will change your life. I promise you that. So getting on with Michael. Yes, that is Michael. And he lost his life. This is the reality of what is going on in our country and these kids and what they're doing to themselves. So that's why he ended up going to jail. He lost his life. He's lucky to be here. He was resuscitated. And that's why he is able to be with us. And you know what? Quite frankly, I don't want to see anybody injured or go out or lose their life, especially over drugs and substances, but this is the reality. I can tell you that there was a lot of people that I got sober with, and there's a lot of people that aren't walking right now that I was sober with. And it is a reality that we have to deal with on a daily basis. I pray to God that he gets the help he needs. I pray to God that he's able to stay in the jail long enough to get clean and sober. What he does when he gets out is really up to him. But I do hope he gets the opportunity to get clean and sober if he so chooses. This and that's really all I want to say. You know, we're still looking for Layla Santinello. Layla Santinello went missing in Kingsport, Tennessee at the Eaststone Commons. The last place she was seen alive was at the Marble Slab Creamery at the Eaststone Commons, as she told one of the workers there that she was going to the Five Below to get flip-flops. It is our understanding that she never made it to the Five Below, and her whereabouts from that point on are unknown. She has not been seen or heard from again. Her mom has got a private investigator. Her father and stepmother have a private investigator. There is a reward that Jennifer Santinello has raised. It's $3,000 to the best of my knowledge. I don't think that's changed from the $3,000, but that's still a good, healthy sum of money for somebody with information leading to the whereabouts of Layla Santinello. She's 4'10", 115 pounds, blonde hair. She's got dark roots, and she's got brown eyes. Very attractive girl. And again, you know, she should be noticeable out there. So if anybody has any information, please come forward. Now, I will tell you, there is enough information that it appears that somebody knows something out there, what happened to her on the 27th. And not just where she is or what happened to her, but also it is my understanding that people are well aware of the situation that had no part in it. And I'm reaching out to those people, and I'm asking those people to come forward. You didn't have any part in this. You could really help this case. If you want to stay anonymous, please call 1-800-TBI-FIND. Again, that's 1-800-TBI-FIND. This was a friend. This is somebody that you called friend. Help her. It could have been you. It could have been you. And I would be here begging somebody else for help. Be that help for your friend. God bless anybody and everybody out there in the Kingsport area. If you're struggling with addiction and you're active in addiction, please consider doing 90 meetings in 90 days. It saved my life. It might save yours. All right, guys, new information. Oh, let me get back to the article. I almost skipped over the main article. Well, not a main article, but it was an interesting article. Interesting article nonetheless. So this is one about a judge in Shelby County, and has taken into custody. But this is the crazy thing, what her charges are. This judge is charged with coercion of a witness and harassment. A judge. And so when you look into this matter, apparently this happened back in 2022, but they're just now arresting her. There's been some kind of disciplinary actions for this judge. And apparently she also may very well have a drinking problem. She's left, she was sick, and we don't know what was really going on, but they said that she served as the, I think, 9th judge on the 30th Judicial District of Criminal Courts. And she stepped away from the bench in May, taking a temporary leave of absence due to illness at the state boards. But earlier this month, she was reprimanded for soliciting money for school while wearing her judicial robe on social media. And in October, the state issued a public reprimand against Boyd. State records show that the Tennessee Board of Judicial Conduct received a complaint as far back as 2022, alleging that Boyd threatened and intimidated an acquaintance that she was abusing alcohol. She admitted to the board in May that she had a substance abuse problem, records show. What a, and this affects everybody. This is what I'm telling you. This is a well-to-do person. This is a judge. This is somebody that has worked their what off to get to that level. And this just shows you, addiction, whether it's alcohol or substances, it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't discriminate against anybody. And even a judge. All right, guys. So I'm going to step away. We're going to get some updates for you on the King's, the university murders.
Hey guys, as you guys can see, we're back in front of the Idaho 41122 King Road here in Moscow, Idaho. We are covering the case of Maddie Mogan, Zaina Kernodle, Haley Gonzalez, and Ethan Chapin.
4 University of Idaho students were slain in their sleep on November 13th 2022, in the early morning hours at their off-campus housing on the outskirts of the University of Idaho. Brian Kohberger was named the suspect in the crime on December 30th, and we had an opportunity to be outside the home when the cleaning crew showed up. This is the same day that the memorial for Maddie Mogen and Kaylee Gonzalez was going on in Coeur d'Alene. We are grieving right along with the family as they go through this process of realizing the home where they were brutally murdered is going to be demolished on December 28th.
This house is still an active crime scene behind me. You see the yellow tape. You see the law enforcement officer still keeping this crime scene secure.
So there you guys have it. That was a video that I did. I can't remember if I did that last night. Yeah, I did that last night. And so that was brought about because I started getting wind that it appeared there was some movement going on in the house. Brian Enton posted yesterday that Kohberger's defense team will access the King Road house today and tomorrow, according to the university. The university says defense wants to take measurements and photographs. Then the demolition will happen on the 28th. So this was the first time that I had read about that demolition taking place was from Brian Enton on this Twitter post. So I went through and you know, it's just a very somber time personally for me. I really wish that they would keep that house erected until after the trial, because we don't know if the jury needs to go into that. But I'm also very sensitive to the fact that that is a horrific landmark for the students at the University of Idaho. And I can't imagine, you know, I've got to take into consideration, you know, these are young kids. This does affect them mentally. You know, this is a mental health situation as well. And not only that, but you know, an observation type of thing. You know, people that go to that school to enroll their children are not going to want to drive by a house where 4 beautiful souls were just brutalized in a massacre. It's sad. I like, you know, I mean, I still don't agree with this decision. I have to be honest with you, but it's not my decision to make, you know, it's, that's my opinion. I have to believe, you know, I do, after being there and after meeting, especially the law enforcement there, you can really tell that these people, even the university, they do care about the students. They care about the students greatly. The students and the student safety in that community are the utmost priority of everybody in that community, because that community is a college town. Okay, that town would not be existing as nice as it is had it not been for that university. That university literally feeds mouths all over Moscow, because those businesses would not have the business that they had without the university. It's just a lot. The town is a university town, period. So I get it. I get it. And I truly do believe that they are, you know, doing the right thing. And here's where my personal kind of calming came with this, is that we knew that the FBI has gone into that house. We knew that they went in the house. I think it was like last week or the week before, maybe even week, you know, the weeks kind of run together for me here lately, you know? So it's very possible that, well, for me, you know, it is possible. When they went in that house and I knew that they were doing the additional testing, I knew that the defense had already gotten the investigative genetic genealogy, you know, in-camera inspection of the information, if nothing more. They're allowed to look at it. And then right after that, we see the FBI going in there. So at first, I was a little concerned, thinking, okay, well, the FBI is going in there. They must have screwed something up. I will be honest with you. Those things do come across.
This is only a test.
Right. Maybe that was a little wrong one to use, but you know what I mean.
This is only
shit,
a
I did
test.
it again. So sorry. There we go. There we go. Maybe it'll be done in a second. Let me hook you back up. It's probably still going. Now that I know. Happy Friday, everyone, right? But seriously, on a serious note, when they went in there, I did think that maybe they screwed up, or maybe they were worried and they needed to recreate something for the investigative genetic genealogy, ruling. Is kind of where I was kind of at on all of that. But now that I found out the defense is going in there and they're going to demolish it, I think they went in there to capture everything. They have all the, the big tech equipment and stuff like that. I didn't hear that equipment was being pulled in there, but there's not a whole lot of eyes on that house right now, now that we're into this phase of the trial and case. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. So I thought I'd bring that in and just let you guys know that it is going to be demolished. I do have some feelings about it. I'm sure all of you guys have some feelings about it, because this has been a very emotional case for all of us. And more importantly, the family. And I don't know how the family, actually, let me go over there. I haven't even been over to the Gonzalez family page. I've been so busy with so many things. Let me see if they've made a statement here. Okay, they did make a post. Here's the post right here. So here's the post that they made. Let me put this up here for you guys to see. There it is. Okay, so it says, we'll get this up so you guys can all read along on the page. So this is from the Gonzalez family page. It says, so I have really been having some hard days this week. Today was especially hard because we were notified that they plan to tear down the house on December 28th, just 3 days after Christmas. Here's the thing with the house. I get it. It's an eyesore. It makes the community and the college sad. It's a house of horrors, and so on, so forth. Yes, Kaylee unfortunately died in that house, but more importantly, Kaylee lived a fun, happy life in that house. So my point is when the house is torn down, it will be very sad for me. Salt in the wound that never heals. Anyway, I broke down at work today and even cried all the way home. When I got home, there was a huge box on our front door. I opened it to find all these amazing treats. Thank you to Ben S. for making me smile on a day of such sadness for me. We love you all so much. I honestly do not know what I would do without all of you rallying around us, loving us, and praying for us. Thank you again, Ben. And yes, I definitely found some goodness in your gift. I'm excited to try the East Coast Green Bakeries. Oh, that was so sweet. Oh, that looks decadent. That looks decadent. Whoever Ben is that did this, God bless you. God bless you. It is just, it's hard. Like I know that this is gonna go forward. I know that this I think is kind of where my acceptance comes in. I know that the university has thought this through. And the first time when they pulled it back, I know that was more of a knee-jerk reaction. We all knew that they were planning on getting rid of this house. It's just hard. And, their emotional attachment to the house is because, Kaylee had so many happy memories in that house, which she did, and we've seen a lot of them. And she seemed like she had a great university experience. And she seemed like she had a lot of friends, and she had a lot of fun along with the other girls there. And I'm sure that the parents probably feel all the parents probably feel, it's similar that this, this is where they lived and had fun, but they understand. I understand too. For the mental health and the well-being of the students there needs to be brought into it. And while we did the email campaign and the mailing campaign to keep this house until the trial, I feel comfortable that the FBI has been in there since then. And that was the biggest thing, is because they boarded it up and nobody had been back in. And, if anybody made mistakes, we didn't know what was going to go on with the trial. But I feel like for whatever reason, I feel like the FBI has dotted their I's and crossed their T's with this house. I think that whatever they can do, they can animate it. The new technology today. I don't think the home itself is lost even after it's demoed. But the day is coming, and it's going to be 3 days after Christmas, and it's going to be hard. And we have to just acknowledge that it's going to be a very difficult time for all the victims' families. It's going to be a very difficult time for the university. It's going to be a difficult time for law enforcement. I can promise you there's not any law enforcement agent that I know across this country that would ever want to work this case. This has got to be horrific all the way around for everybody, even the people that don't know they're involved, that are involved. For all of us, this is going to be hard for us to watch this house come down, especially with us being in front of it, especially with all the unknowns that we still don't know about the case. We still don't know about Brian Koberger. We still don't know about the kids. It's just a lot. It's a lot. But at this point, it's going forward. It doesn't sound like anything's going to change their mind at this point. So all I'm going to ask you, as I always ask you, is say a prayer. Pray for the families. Pray for strength. Okay, I think all these families, what they're walking through is something straight out of The Shining. It is a nightmare on top of a nightmare. And if nothing more, they need prayers of strength, because I have got to imagine that their batteries are pretty freaking low. I can't imagine. I don't want to imagine. It's heartbreaking. I'm thankful that the Gonzalez give us a little piece of their life to let us know what's going on with them and the case, and what they are able to share with us and share with the public. And I'm very appreciative of that, even in all their grief and pain. They're fighting. I love fighters. There's nothing that's going to change what happened. But you can just, things like this, I think, bring out the best in people at times. Sometimes it brings out the worst, but this really, I'm sure the Gonzalez probably found strength that they didn't even know they had. And sometimes that's the silver lining, the only thing that we can really grasp onto at the end of the day. So we're just going to give a big shout out to the Gonzalez family, the Mogan family, the Kernodle family, and the Chapin family. I just can't imagine what you all are going through. We also want to give a shout out to Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen, two of the other victims of this crime that are dealing with a lot from this. And I'm sure this is going to be very hard on them as well. And they're the living victims. They had a lot of great times in that house. Their whole entire memory of college is just foiled for them. I don't know if they'll ever really, they may recover from these scars, but I don't know if they'll ever really get over them. These are pretty deep scars, folks. This is pretty deep scars. I can tell you that. All right. As we pull into the Crystal Rogers case, we've got another video. I prepared a video. I haven't dropped it yet, but we're going to play it.
In the Crystal Rogers case, two of Kentucky's highest courts released big decisions today, both ruling against Brooks Houck. Houck is charged with murder in connection to the 2015 disappearance of Crystal Rogers. He was arrested in September and has been in jail on a $10 million bond since then.
Crystal Rogers is a mother of 5 beautiful kids that went missing on the July 4th weekend in 2015. Her boyfriend, Brooks Houck, came under heavy scrutiny about her disappearance back in 2015. Brooks Houck was later arrested after Joseph Lawson, and the case kind of died out. There was some major shocks in the case when the state prosecutor
Brooks Houck's hearing, tells the judge that his brother, Nick, might have been the one that shot Crystal's father, Tommy Ballard. If you're unfamiliar with this case, Crystal is a beautiful young lady that disappeared in 2015, and her father went out looking for her and searching. Well, during a hunting, what many thought was a hunting accident, he was shot to death. And apparently during this hearing for Brooks Houck, it was alleged that his brother Nick may have killed Crystal's father.
Waiting for testing to come back on the firearm we believe was used to murder Tommy Ballard, firearm that we purchased from Nicholas Houck, who was using a fake name.
This case has a lot of twists and turns, and that's not it. In 2013, an officer was ambushed. His name is Jason Ellis. And people are starting to feel that this Jason Ellis is connected to this particular case with Crystal Rogers and Brooks Houck. So now we have 3 people arrested in connection with the death of Crystal Rogers, although her body has not yet been found.
The Chief Justice ruling today, Nelson County Judge Charles Sims will be staying on the case, writing, quote, "The defendant failed to demonstrate any disqualifying circumstance that would require the appointment of a special judge. Houck will stay in jail on a $10 million bond until his trial. His next court date is set for February of next year."
All right, so that's leading us into the Crystal Rogers case. Many of you know that I have been really working very hard to find the connection. What's going on here? You know, we know we've uncovered that there was some type of, you know, pill pipeline from the state of Florida to Kentucky that was shut down. Let me get my notes here. It was shut down in like 2012. We had a bourbon heist shortly after Jason Ellis was killed. Do we know whether or not that had anything to do with it? Quite frankly, I don't. I don't know if any of this has to do with it, but some of the locals have been reaching out to me and providing me information, as well as other people with information. And everybody is saying that that Jason Ellis was the drug police. He came in from Cincinnati. This was his forte. And, you know, I started thinking, you know, when we were reading that Oxygen article, what did we focus on? We focused on what they were looking at in the Oxygen magazine, you know, the storage units, the high-end, you know, business thefts and robberies and things of that nature. And when we went to the when we went to do the searches and stuff on here, we didn't find anything that was really meaty, something that was big enough that somebody would actually lose their life. I think Broken, it's because it may have appeared snarky. This is the Bullhorn Betty channel, and if it wasn't meant to be snarky, then disregard it. But if you're going to continue, you know, I don't know what's going on, but you know, either way, just tone it down, and it's not you in here. But it says, yeah, everybody in our town knows that. That sounds snarky and rude. And the only rule here, I have never seen your name before, so maybe you're not new, maybe you're new to the channel, but the only real request that we have here on this channel is don't be a dick, don't be a Richard, right? So it just sounded really snarky. I'm sure that's what rubbed them the wrong way. I don't know. I don't watch chat, but if somebody's saying something in chat, I think that has to do with it. So, you know, no harm, no foul, and no worries. And we're happy to have you here to participate. But I think that may have been what it is. May have just been a misunderstanding. So here's some information. This is another video. And again, we're going to go through some of this this stuff here. And this is the main suspect in the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. This was from just a few days ago, a couple days ago, related to this case. I don't think it has anything to do with his current You know, when he went to court, he appealed a couple different things. He was trying to remove the judge from his case. He said the judge had a bias against him, and the bias that he couldn't establish. So the appeals court denied that. And then the other one was that his bond was unfair. You know, the $10 million bond. Remember, we talked about it. It was one of the biggest bonds that they had in the history of Bardstown, Kentucky. And so because of that, they thought that he wasn't justified in the ruling of a $10 million bond, but he was very clear when he adjusted that bond to $10 million that Brooks Houck's got the assets to bond himself out if he so chooses. So, and this is a mechanism to make sure that he stays put until trial. These are significant charges. He's not even entitled to bond. I think he's entitled. I don't even know. I'm pretty sure they're entitled to a bond hearing, but they're not entitled to bond. He is in jail for murder. This idea that he's entitled to this, they could have said no bond. They would have been justified in no bond. They give him a $10 million bond. He needs to quit complaining and either deplete his assets and bond himself out if he wants to be out of jail, or sit there and sit tight until his trial. But according to everybody, the prosecuting attorney, he's got assets. He can sell those assets. He can have somebody sell those assets and put it into a conservatorship or receivership, whatever it is, whatever ship it needs to go into to make sure he gets out of jail if he so chooses, right? He does not have to stay there. He does have the ability to get out. So, well, it's the attitude. Like even this, you know, you came in here guns a-blazing, being rude and snarky, and sorry, we treat others here on the Bullhorn Betty channel as they treat us. So if you're here to listen, it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like you're being mean to my audience, and that's unacceptable and will not be tolerated here on this channel. So again, I'm going to give you one final warning. If you'd like to participate, you may, but your tone and your messages is what's causing problems with the audience. Okay, so if you'd like to be here and listen, you're more than welcome. I have no problem with you being here. As a matter of fact, I'd like you to be here. But you gotta, you just, be courteous. I mean, this is your first impression of the channel members and subscribers, the people that have built this channel. Every person in here has helped build this channel. So you got to realize you're talking to the bosses in this chat. Okay, I'm not the boss. So you're going in here and being nasty to the bosses. They don't like it. Just letting you know. Trust me. My bosses are mean. They crack that whip. Where is it? There we go. I cracked the whip on Bullhorn Betty. But watch out. Better watch out. But we're glad you're here. Just explains to me how everybody in town knows that sounds snarky. Yes, I say something. Okay, so maybe it's just a misunderstanding. Well, we're glad you're here. Like I said, we're a nice bunch, but we're awfully defensive because of everything we deal with on here. So just bear with it. God bless you and thank you for being here. Okay, why do we not have this? Hold on. It's moving before I can get...
6, the primary suspect in the disappearance of Bardstown mother has been moved to another jail, Brooks Houck.
Oh, that's right. I forgot to tell you that, too. I forgot all about that. That was one of the reasons why I decided to run this story to begin with, is because the news, the whole entire Twitter and news related to the Crystal Rogers and the Brooks Houck was just going off. I had I don't know, when I was doing searches, 15 different articles. And so it's major breaking news that Brooks Houck is moving from one jail to another. Okay, stop the presses. Okay, stop the presses. Where's my break? Stop the presses. I got too many damn buttons. Where's my favorite button? Uh-oh. There it is.
Warning, bullshit alert.
Sorry, I had to push the button. It's one of those days. It's Friday. We need to have fun on Friday. So Brooks is actually moving from one jail to another. And I remember the jail. I just didn't write it down. So we'll just listen.
Houck was booked into the Oldham County Detention Center this afternoon. No reason was given. Houck had been in Hardin County after being indicted for the murder of his ex-girlfriend, Crystal Rogers. She went missing in July of 2015. Houck will be back in court in February. Two other men, Steven and Joseph Lawson, are charged with conspiracy to commit murder in the case. Steven Lawson is now scheduled to be arraigned next Thursday. He's being held in the Harrison County, Indiana jail.
So there you have it. That's pretty much it for that. And it's probably going to put something on my screen, and I don't want to. Let me just move this over here. There we go. There we go. So that's it. The Hardin jail. He was moved from the Hardin jail and into what other jail did he go to? He went to Oldham County Detention. Oldham County Detention. I think it's Oldham County Detention Center on Wednesday. So I'm not sure if this is normal and customary to make a move like this, if he had some internal problems. I mean, we've been following cases for quite some time. You know what it might be? I'm wondering if they're not able to segregate, because now they have Joseph in that jail. Now, this is a small community. This is a small community of 13,000. So we have to think the jail is kind of probably something similar to Moscow jail. It's small, right? Where Brian Koberger is at. But see, Brian Koberger was the only defendant being charged in connection with the quadruple homicide out there in Moscow, Idaho, with the University of Idaho students, the Idaho 4. Here we have, the 3 people being charged with one, in connection with one death. So it might be that they can't have the inmates together because they have to make sure they're separated. So there's like no coordination or anything like that, I would assume. And it might be a safety measure as well. Having 3 high profile inmates in one, facility might be causing some additional problems, or problems that they weren't expecting, because again, this is a high profile case. When you start getting national media attention on a case, we have, homicides that happen all over the country on a daily basis in all different jurisdictions and states. So the cases that actually make it on national news are high profile cases. So this is high profile. And so I guess it's a pretty big deal for them to be on. Why is this doing this? I forget that when I load this stuff up, by the time I get back to it, it just doesn't want to load too well. And I don't understand really why, but it just doesn't. Let me see if I can just go ahead and Control C, Control V. Okay. So I started looking into, I might as well just go past this. This is just driving me nuts. It's not, I don't know what's going on with WHAS 11. Their articles, they get jammed up and they don't want to process. So I'll just have to move on. So this is where Shay McAllister, she's been really, from what I hear, she's a great, well, I've known of her before. So, but Shay McAllister has really taken the lead in this case and really has done a lot of investigative journalistic work on this case. And she seems to always have her ear to the ground when it comes to this case. She was able to get us, the first interview with Steven Lawson's attorney. We're going to go over that. So she's just been on the ball with this. And she was one of the ones that dropped this Facebook post. It appears Brooks Houck has been moved to Oldham County Detention Center, booked around 2 this afternoon. New mugshot below. No new charges listed. The Oldham County facility takes in inmates arrested by Kentucky State Police, FBI agents, or Oldham County Sheriff's Department. So it sounds like it's also an FBI. It's like an FBI retaining center as well. And from what we hear, the FBI is involved in this case, and they're the ones that took the lead and were able to finally bring justice for Crystal Rogers. Now, we do have, hey, Thomas, it's nice to see you, love. Samantha, I don't think I said hi to you. I didn't say hi to Hindsight. I don't even think I said hi to you, Broken. So good morning. Lulu's Nana, SB, good morning. Pebbles, Jack, it's nice to see you. Connie Branch. So we got some other faces that I didn't get a chance to say hi to this morning. Mike, it's nice to see you. If anybody doesn't know, our beautiful Mike is our resident defense attorney. All you need is a little bit of tears and some snot coming out of your nose, and you are not guilty. Jules, it's nice to see you, love. It's nice to see you. So there you have it. He is new booking photo. He doesn't look too happy. I gotta be honest with you. The man doesn't look too happy. He looks like they caught me. He looks like he's been upset. He looks like he's been crying. He looks like it's finally starting to set in. Steph L, nice to see you, love. It seems to me that picture right there says 1,000 words. That does not look like an innocent man to me. Now, granted, I'm just judgmental, right? I'm just mean. Mean Betty, right? I wake up every morning and say, hey, how can I be mean to a perfect stranger today? No, I don't. I wake up every day and say, how can I be mean to a criminal today? Right? How can I piss a criminal off today? I'm just joking. I don't wake up saying that. Actually, to be honest with you, I wish I never had to cover these stories, right? I wish I never had to cover these stories. But there's something with this guy right here. There's definitely something. I don't know what it is, but his mom gave me a weird vibe, right? His mom's given me a weird vibe for quite some time. Let's be honest. And we know from 2 months ago or 3 months ago when we first ran this case that Bullhorn Betty does not like Mom. I don't know what it is about her, but her and I we just ain't going to be friends. Okay. We just ain't going to be buddy. She's not a person like when I meet some, I don't care how wealthy you are. I don't care how poor you are. I don't care where you come from. I don't care nothing. I really don't care. I got people from way up there to way down there. Right. And, I got to tell you, there's just some people that I just get a vibe I won't associate with, like that mom. I mean, what have I called her? What did I say? I called her Mafia Mom here recently, but I called her something else before, and I can't remember. I'm gonna have to go back to those 2 months. Maybe I did call her Mafia Mom back then. I don't remember, but I just said she looked evil. Oh, I know what I called her. I called her Mommy Dearest. That's what I called her a few months ago. Mommy Dearest. I remember that. Mommy Dearest. And so I already had a weird vibe with the mother. I already had the weird vibe, and her name's Rosemary Houck. And his grandmother is Anna Whiteside. And Anna Whiteside, you remember we heard about and I'm getting some more details on this, but remember I told you that Grandma pled the fifth at the grand jury? And I think it was related to a vehicle, because it sounds like they sold the vehicle, a vehicle. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember the details. I read this stuff and sometimes I'm half asleep or it's done in the middle of the night. And when I wake up, the details are foggy. But for whatever reason, I almost want to say it was that maroon car, but they got the maroon car out of the storage unit. I remember seeing the tow truck driver, put it on the tow truck. But there was something related to a car, and I don't know if it was the maroon car or a secondary car. I'll have to go back and check those details out. But in the meantime, until I get those facts, figured out in my head, you can do your own research to find out which it is. But the grandmother sold a vehicle, and I believe that's what she pled the fifth on at that grand jury, was stuff around that vehicle and the sale of that vehicle and why she sold that vehicle, because it sounds like everybody knew Brooks did something to Crystal, because there's no way Steven picked up Joseph. There's no way Joseph drove that car there, and all of this stuff from July 5th to 8 years now when everybody's getting arrested, that nobody knew that she was missing and that they were trying to find out how her car got there, and nobody wanted to speak. So, and then we found out through Shay McAllister from another article that she dropped about Steve Lawson's wife, something Greer, I remember Greer. I can't remember her first name, but something Greer. And she was charged with the same thing as Steve, and it was dropped, but she was charged with a perjury aspect of it for I guess lying to the grand jury, and then that ended up being dropped. So there's still some hairy stuff going on in this case, and I think the hairy stuff that we're seeing is the pressure law enforcement was applying to these people to get them to crack. They were tired of it. I mean, everybody knew that there was that something happened and nobody was speaking. And I think that they applied the right pressure at the right time on Joseph to get him to break, which ultimately got this man arrested. And I think that they were working with Steve the entire time, because it sounds like they've been working with Steve for quite some time. And Steve, his own attorney, acknowledges that Steve's son, Joseph Lawson, has a extensive hand in all of this. Whether we don't know what that means. Was he there when she died, or was he just there to help, bury her remains? We know he was in the car. They at least allege that Joseph is the one that drove her maroon car and left it on the Blue Ridge Parkway, or whatever it was called, Blue Parkway, whatever it's called. And the crazy part is that where was the car going? Because obviously that wasn't the place it was supposed to be. It just happened to be that tire became flat and he could no longer drive that vehicle and needed to call his dad to go pick him up. So let me get back up here, because I saw some people writing some stuff in here, and I want to make sure that we cover that. Thank you. I'm not totally up for the case. Totally up on the case. I came back in the middle of the case. Yeah, we're getting brought up on it. We've got, I'll put the playlist. I think we've already got a playlist for Crystal here. So if you guys want to see some of the work, and I'm pretty sure the majority of our work, except 2 videos that we did like last month, are on the main channel. But for the purposes of this, we've been covering all the new updates here on this specific channel. So you guys can get that and pull that and look at all the videos and get some information. I did get a little bit of conspiracy theory trying to find the connection between Jason Ellis, and we know it's criminal. We know it's organized crime of some sort. But what? And we heard in the Oxygen magazine, storage units and business thefts and related to antiques and drugs, right? So it kind of gave us this pattern of drugs, which Jason Ellis is a drug police, right? But we went down that avenue, and of course we only found the basically 2 things that could potentially be the possibility that we had found looking on the outskirts. But I wasn't looking for drugs on the inside of Bardstown. Well, I did some searches on the inside of Bardstown for drugs, just to look at their drug issues that they were having at the time Jason Ellis lost his life, and see if we can derive some information from that. I personally have not looked at them yet. I mean, I pulled them up, I previewed them, but I have not really digested them. So I thought maybe that would be something that we could do together on this channel. So we've got him in here, and I wanted to, before we get off of Shay's panel or Shay's channel here on Facebook, I wanted to do one more. She has this one. This is the one that I want up. This is pretty interesting and very enlightening for those that haven't seen it. Most of the people here have already watched this one.
Like, as far as you can tell.
Really up front. So this is about a 4-minute video. I'm going to stop and talk through it since we've already played it once all the way through. I'm doing that because I want to point out some important stuff here to you guys.
Can you tell us when you first got in touch with Steven?
This year.
This year?
Earlier.
What has the investigation looked like as far as you can tell?
It sounds like, just to clarify this, it sounds like the attorney has just been hired since this case started heating up. I heard, and I don't know how true this is, so do your own research, but this is just what I heard. I heard that he started kind of singing like a bird back in May. Is when Steven started cooperating, so to speak, with law enforcement. And I don't think he was cooperating prior to, but I just wanted to clarify that. So this attorney has only been working this case since this year. So he hasn't been his attorney for the 7 years prior to.
Like they were trying to find evidence, and they hadn't found it yet.
So when they first approached him, as you can imagine, they're trying to find any and all information leading to the whereabouts of Crystal Rogers.
And they weren't satisfied, the Commonwealth wasn't satisfied with respect to what they had. They were looking for more.
What do you think they have on him?
I don't know if they have any more than I've told you, but they.
So what he's talking about here is because they charged Steven Lawson with, what was it? Conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with physical evidence. I think I'm confident are the two charges that Steven Lawson and Joseph Lawson have received so far. It is my understanding that Joseph Lawson was more heavily involved in the disappearance of Crystal Rogers than Steve was, his father. According to what Steve is saying, he's saying that all he did was basically pick up Joseph when he called on the side of the road with a flat tire. When he picked him up, he had to have known he was in the maroon car. I have to imagine that his father saw him in the maroon car. Later, knowing that that was Crystal's car. We're going to get to a few other things, but we'll just stop here and we'll keep going with this video.
Apparently, they chose to indict him rather than give him the immunity that he was promised.
Oh, so he had been in discussions with them.
He has, and I have.
Regarding some sort of deal?
Immunity.
To say what he knows.
What's known as transactional immunity.
About how many times do you think police have been in touch with Steven?
Over a dozen.
That is a lot. And I'd have to think, because of his prior statement that he's only been involved with this case since the beginning of the year, he's telling us that law enforcement has spoken with his client at least a dozen times. They were in this transactional immunity conversation where, Steve Lawson gives them information that will help, solidify the conviction of either Joseph Lawson or Brooks Lawson or both. And that fell through. And I think the reason why it fell through, and I think I hit the nail on the head, I don't know, but it is leading me to that path, is when I first heard about this, I even said that I'm very upset if they did promise him immunity and he lived up to his obligations, and then they didn't provide immunity. That would give me, that would make me very, very, very upset, because, our country, we live off these deals in some cases where we need answers. And if we have a group of people that doesn't trust getting their immunity and spilling the beans, then we're going to be up, S Creek without a paddle. So I'm very, hi, Honey Dip. It's nice to see you, love. B. Betty, good morning. Erica, it's nice to see you as well. So I would have to presume that, and I said this, that I thought maybe he wasn't telling the entire truth, that there was something there, because I kind of understand how law enforcement works, a little bit. And I know how honorable and how important honor is to law enforcement in many, many cases. Is that the way it is from every single law enforcement? We're not batting 100%. Nobody is. Okay. So I'm not talking about, but the majority of people, they're honorable people, honorable. And that's why they have the jobs that they do, is that honor. So I had to look past that. I was a little frustrated and hot under the collar, and I have to remember this is a defense attorney and there may be more going on here. Well, one of the other things that Shay McAllister broke was the fact that there was a wife, this Greer lady, that was also charged. That those things, those charges were later dropped. I want to say in October, I think is what she said. And in those charges, the wife was charged with, if I'm not mistaken, perjury was one of the issues. So that kind of leads me to believe that, it's not that law enforcement just sandbagged this guy. It sounds to me like Steve, even after giving like this golden goose opportunity, sounds like maybe didn't come clean, didn't come all the way clean. When you get a golden goose like this, you vomit everything. I don't care if it makes you look like the biggest piece of you know what in the world. You are about to skate. You tell them everything. You vomit it. You throw it all up. Just throw it all up. They're willing to do it as long as you don't lie. That is literally almost every single plea deal is don't lie. If they catch you lying, it is over. It is over. Rosemary is scary. Erica, I think that's an understatement. I have to be honest with you. Like Rosemary just, she gives me like Mother Dearest vibes. I'm telling you, when I said mafia mom, I think I hit the nail on the head. She just has that look. She just has that stature. She just has that swagger, right? She's got the mafia B mom swagger on her face all the time. All the time. Yeah, she scares me too. I think Bullhorn Betty can take mafia mom. I don't know. Let me get in the ring. Let me get my mafia mom would be like, don't be playing with me, Betty. Oh Lord. Don't let that woman put fear in you. His mother looks like that because she feels she's untouchable. Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't want to be. I know, but she is. So let's just get back to this. This is pretty interesting. He's got some bombshells. I think we're going to see some bombshells at Steven's arraignment.
Just this year?
Many more than a dozen.
From your understanding, was Steven Lawson involved in the death of Crystal Rogers?
No, he was not.
What do you think his connection is to this case?
He was an employee, part-time employee of Houck, and he had an association with Houck.
My question is why, let me just put this in perspective. There's something else going on here with the relationship with the Lawsons. I don't know what it is. It's something I feel in my gut. This is not a normal, part-time employee type of relationship to me. I'm sorry. I don't see any employer trusting a part-time employee enough to deal with secrets like this. I just don't. Personally speaking, I just don't. I keep trying to justify this and trying to figure out the mentality of somebody, with probably the multiple employees that he has. Why the Lawsons? And then he's like, oh, he's just a part-time employee of his. And I'm thinking, who the heck trusts a part-time employee? Just a run-of-the-mill part-time employee with something like this. This is huge. This is a dead body. This is not, stealing sugar from the local store. I don't, there's something, I just feel like there's more here with the Lawsons. There's got to be some type of other connection. Maybe they were in business together on the, the organized crime side. I just don't, there's a trust, there's a friends among thieves trust with the Lawsons and the Houcks. And I'm trying to figure out, is that, organized crime related? I just don't believe it's from this part-time employment situation. I don't usually believe a defense attorney, but he sounds truthful. Yeah, he does. Absolutely. I absolutely believe that he's telling his client's story. Now, remember, he's a defense attorney. He's only telling what his clients told him. And he's defending, his clients based on what his clients told him. So, there is that. Yeah, he's being truthful. And I will tell you this, all attorneys, even look, if Alec Murdaugh told Dick Harpoolian and Jim Griffin that he murdered his wife and son, they would have been prevented from allowing him to do a not guilty plea without doing like not guilty plea by reason of insanity. An attorney is an officer of the courts. They cannot lie to the judge. They cannot lie before the court. And if they know something to be true, they can't deny it in a pleading because, again, they're an officer of the court and they can't knowingly, because they have a trust by being an attorney. They have, professionalism and ethics training and stuff like that, where they can't lie. They're not allowed to lie. They can be sanctioned for lying, for intentionally and willfully lying. So this is a seasoned attorney. He's going to tell you what he knows. That's what he's taught to do. That's how, again, he removes all of his emotions from his client's problems.
Mr. Houck has had conversations with him about Crystal, and that's the extent of my client's involvement.
And what about that phone call? Police have released it as that it was from the interrogation room.
That's correct.
What do you make of that phone call?
It was a set-up phone call.
And we all the people, when we were in here and listened to Brooks Houck's interrogation, call it what you will. I'm not going to get into a peeing contest over what terminology is the best to use. So interrogation, interview, whatever you wish to call it, doesn't really matter. But during that and closer to the end, there was this conversation. There was this phone call because law enforcement was pressuring and pressing Brooks Houck on why he was calling a specific number. Well, they wanted to know whose number it was and why was he calling this specific number so late at night, or why this call was coming into him so late at night. I think it was Steve called him. And so I'm actually almost confident that Steve called him. And so he's like, well, what's this? Whose number is this? And he rattles off a number and he's like, I don't recognize it. Let me look it up in my phone. Let me check that out for you, sir. Right? Oh, it's an employee of mine. His name's Steven Lawson, and he just does some work for me, and all nonchalant. And he's like, well, what did he call you for? And he's like, I really just can't remember. Why don't I just give him a call? Let me just give him a call. I don't want to hit that one again. I was going to hit the phone button. It just rings and rings. It just goes on and on and on. Penny Positive, it's nice to see you. It's Bluegrass Parkway. Thank you, my love. Thank you. Shay has been involved since the Jason Ellis case. She's been with Sherry Ballard since day one. Shay knows a lot she won't speak on. I noticed, it's funny that you say that. But you know what? I picked up on that. In this interview. When we ran this interview, what was it, 2 days ago, the first time? Like, it was just breaking. And so we brought it up here to listen to it. And there was one look on her face that she gave herself away. And I literally stopped the video and said, she knew the answer before she got the answer. And it was one that we wouldn't have known about. It's about this paint. You'll see it. It's going to be coming up here shortly. But yeah, she knows a lot. You can see it in her face. Like some of the questions she almost has like, the reason why I caught this one is she had almost a smirk. It was a subtle smirk, but it was a smirk. Like she already knew what the answer was. So I believe you. I absolutely believe you. I absolutely, she's great. And she seems like such a sweetheart too. She seems like such a sweetheart. So it's nice to see you, Penny Positive. It's nice to see you.
Well, one was supposed to call the other, and the ring came in, and they spoke.
And what about Steve's son?
Steve's son,
he's got to be very careful with this because Steve's son's not his client, but I think he answers this question spectacularly.
I'm not sure about the evidence that they have against Steve's son. I know that he's extremely involved.
Do you think that Brooks Houck paid Joseph.
This is the one. You to watch her face. I'm gonna have to back up. I think this is the question that I knew she knew the answer before she asked.
Lawson to
Right
help
there.
in
That
the murder
face
of
right
Crystal
there.
Rogers.
Right there.
I think the common.
And as you can see, he's struggling to find the appropriate, because he's got to be very careful what he says in these interviews, and he's got to make sure that it's allegedly and he uses the proper language, right? So she caught him off guard, and he has to figure out how to properly answer this question. But it was this question that I knew she knew a lot more about this case that she hasn't personally brought public.
Commonwealth has been trying to establish that a payment was made. As to who that payment was made to and when it was made, I'm not privy to that information yet.
What about the vehicle in this case?
Vehicle was the maroon vehicle that was parked out on mile marker 14 on the Bluegrass Parkway heading west. It was driven out there by Joey Lawson.
So now you hear from this attorney that, his client being Steve, the father, Joseph's dad, that he didn't really have any involvement, according to this attorney, that he just merely set up a phone call, which was dubious, and picked up his son from the car that they knew was connected to the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. So Steve I'd have to say Steve's involvement's probably a little bit more than his attorney's implying, because if he didn't have anything to do with it, why wait so long to say that you picked up your son next to that car? I mean, again, it's his son. He doesn't have to, he doesn't, nobody, to the best of my knowledge, so far, I haven't found a state that requires somebody to report a crime or charges them for failing to report a crime. I could be wrong. You never know. Let's see what this says. She told that in a WHIS 11 interview, she has connections and a great reporter. I was born in Bardstown. I said from the beginning that all these cases are connected. I'm not sure about the mom and daughter. I looked at the mom and daughter. This is what I really think about the mom and daughter, and I don't know why I'm getting this. There's three things that I think might. It's either, and I'd like to know either one or both of them. These are just suggestions or possibilities. It's not that this is factual or anything like that, so don't take it as that. One is the fact that they may have been a witness to a crime. That's always a possibility. The other is that mom was dating somebody and it went sour, or the daughter was at the age that she could be dating somebody and it went sour. Mom and daughter were by themselves. Could it have been an in-law or the ex or something of that nature? But when I keep reading the reports, it seems like they know who it is for whatever reason, but hasn't named the person as a suspect and doesn't have the one link to get that case closed, because they said it was targeted and personal. So it sounds like it has to be somebody that they personally know that did this to them. And law enforcement has an idea, but we don't. And that's just my speculation. Again, do your own research, find out the information for yourself, and make the decisions on what your brain tells you.
He had a flat tire at that mile marker, and my client received a phone call, went out there and got him, brought him back.
So Steve has told you that he went and picked up Joey from the Bluegrass Parkway where he had driven Crystal's car.
He's told the state police that, told FBI that, told the Commonwealth's attorney that.
So he's saying he's told all these law enforcement heads this information. Well, and my question was back then, when? Because if he's just now singing like a bird, why wasn't he singing like a bird 8 years ago when Sherry Ballard was crying her eyes out? Or how about 7 years ago or 6.5 years ago when she was crying her eyes out and when was gunned down at his home? There's a lot of deaths that could have been prevented because this man kept his mouth shut. Okay, so I mean, I kind of understand the frustration from law enforcement. I'll just say that. But if they did a plea and if they give him a plea deal and he did what he was supposed to do, I hope they do what they're supposed to do. That's all I'm going to say.
From Hardin County, who's in charge of the investigation.
Any other important details that you believe prove your client's innocence?
Other than his assertion that I did not hurt Crystal and was not involved in hurting Crystal. I didn't plan to hurt Crystal. I didn't conspire to hurt Crystal. Those are his statements. And that's what he has told.
So, and he says the assertions that his client has made. So again, it comes back to him, asserting what his client has told him. Does that mean the information that this attorney has is true and accurate, that Steve had nothing more to do with this case than just merely picking up his son? I don't know if that's the case, because they're talking about tampering with actual physical evidence as one of Steve Lawson's charges. That sounds a little more involved than just picking up his son. I don't know. I don't know. They did a new dig up on the Cokes Creek. Maybe found what they needed. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I'm sure somebody does. I just don't. Or I'm not thinking about it. Sometimes I fry my brain out with these lives. Good morning. I'm glad you can make it here with us today. Yes. Thank you, Connie. Thank you. It's nice to see you, Lovebug. My cousin went to school with Sam. I like this attorney. I like the attorney too. He seems very knowledgeable. He seems very good. And I think he'll represent his client very, very well. He seems very, again, knowledgeable and willing to work. And I'm pretty sure if his client was due a plea deal, I'm sure he's going to get the plea deal for his client. Susan says, Steve has been speaking way before we know, especially if he spoke to Kentucky State Police. I'm sure they have zeroed in on him from the day of the call. Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's possible. He's saying just this last year that they've had 12 conversations with him. We have to think that they brought his butt into the station after the conversation with Brooks Houck. Because they brought in Nick. If they're bringing in Nick, why would they bring in Steve, which called him that night? I'm sure that he had to give them a statement. But I'm sure. New site that they went was digging up ground. In Cox Creek. Yeah, Kentucky. Now, Penny, that's a place in Nelson, because there was a place in Nelson that they got heavy equipment and literally dug a freaking crater in the earth. Was that the same? Are you talking about the same search? The new search at Cox Creek was just a few days ago, wasn't? Oh, maybe it was last week. Yeah, I think that's the one that sparked all this conversation, because they had a huge backhoe in this freaking hole. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, Nelson. Yeah, okay. And because they kept saying in the articles, Nelson County. I'm not from Kentucky. I know Bardstown. I remember. I couldn't remember if Bardstown was in Kentucky or the county one over. What is it, Frankfurt or something like? I don't remember. Either way, or Franklin or something like. I can't remember. Either way, I was reading an article and it said another search in Nelson County, and it had this huge backhoe and this freaking huge hole. And it was crazy. I'm like, wow, and then it dawned on me, he's a construction guy with a farm. He's got heavy equipment. Obviously somebody told him whatever evidence they're going to find must be really deep. They must have did their job. I think, burying this stuff. I think for whatever reason, I feel like the day that she went missing, or the cops coming to his house, around that July 5th day, he moved stuff, because I remember in his interview that they honed in on the fact that, you move debris around or something like that. I wonder if he buried her and moved the debris on top of it, so it didn't look like the ground, you couldn't see the ground underneath had been, disturbed. And I feel like something like that happened. So their original, and they probably put her so far down that their original search, the dogs didn't get hits if they had dogs. I don't know. but there's just something there because I keep going back to that comment that they had made about him moving stuff, moving trash, moving, you know, and he was talking about it being construction debris, if I recall correctly. I almost want to go back to that. That whole construction debris thing. And we know he's been moved to Odom County Jail. I don't think there's really any other information than that. He's got a new arrest record, 3 men arrested. We've already went through that article. And then I start going through more connection because we maybe, because when I was looking for the storage unit in the antiques, that's what I was searching for. Now I'm searching for actual articles. Look what I found. Does this mean anything? I don't know, but I feel like we're getting hotter. This happened about a year and a half after, and I don't have a video here, a year and a half after Ellis was killed. But I want you to read this. Documents show how police say ex-officer got 2,000 pain pills. There is an officer with the Bardstown police officer was able to obtain thousands of prescriptions. This is in 2014. Newly released documents divulge details in the case of former Bardstown police officer who's being investigated for doctor shopping. Remember, I told you about that pipeline that used to come straight from Florida to Kentucky, and that was kind of killed. I want to say it was 2013. No, 2000. I think it was 2011, 2012. I didn't put the date on here. I'll have to go back and look at that. But anyways, Tony Satterley in March was indicted on 10 counts of obtaining and attempting to obtain prescriptions by fraud, forgery, or misrepresentation. A court document reveals how detectives said Satterley was able to get a hold of the prescriptions, including hundreds of doses of oxycodone and hydrocodone, all from several different pharmacists. It was at the Bardstown pharmacy where detectives say Satterley had most of his prescriptions filled. According to the documents, they were prescribed about 5 different doctors between January 2013 and January 2014, resulting in 1,825 hydrocodone tablets and 265 tablets of oxycodone. And do you guys remember that one pharmacy in Bardstown that had that $250,000 fraud scheme from the government that they said they provided, the fraudulent, because I'm thinking that this is the scheme, like the pharmacist is filling and getting money from Medicare and insurance company for these pills, and he has to justify the ordering of the pills from these companies that fulfill his prescription stuff. So I have a funny feeling it's all kind of coming together, this organization from that pharmacist. Remember? We talked about it the other day. I'll have to go back and look at that. I should have pulled that up, but I didn't. I wonder if this has anything to do with it. But this is from 2014. But again, this is from shopping from January 2013 to January 2014. And if we recall, Jason Ellis was killed on May 25th, 2013. So there was some heavy drug activity here. And it says detectives said Satterley got his prescription through Morris. According to court documents, Satterley honestly thought Christie was talking to the doctors about the prescriptions and that he believed the prescriptions he received from Christie were legitimate. The court records indicated that Satterley began taking painkillers for a back injury. Detectives said he met Morris outside Flaggett Memorial Hospital to get more prescriptions. Then again at Memorial benefit for fallen. Then at a memorial benefiting for the fallen officer Jason Ellis. That's in this article. Morris was indicted on 2 counts of forgery of prescriptions. I wonder if that Morris person. I think this is all connected. Hold on here. Sure is. No, that's Sizemore. It says Sizemore. It says Sizemore. So that's a different person, but the name of his pharmacy, what was the name of the pharmacy here? Croom or Crum or something like that. Croom Drugs. So far it hasn't connected. So far it hasn't connected. According to the record, she claimed oftentimes the prescription pad would have Dr. Nazar's signature on them, but it was up to her and her office staff to write the prescriptions. So there is some prescription stuff going on here. I don't think that. Let me see who these people are associated with. Nope, not that. Ooh. This is bad stuff. Sorry, I don't want to put that up. And there are some trafficking stuffs going on in here, but that's the only one that I see that would probably. And I see that there was a fight over some synthetic marijuana, major supplier of synthetic marijuana trying to shut a store down there. But this one was a little odd for me. And this one's coming back from 2012. And this is a little interesting. It says, remember, we had a teacher that tried to sell bootlegged. He denied it. But according to the store, he tried to sell them the Pappy Van Winkle rare bourbon that had been stolen. And then they called law enforcement. He said, oh, no. I was just trying to see if I could purchase some. And I thought, well, that's a little odd that, a liquor store mistaking something like that. They're accustomed to people coming in there and asking them if they have certain alcohols or not. That it's unbelievable that they misunderstood this man so much so. And again, this was the principal, and he had Pappy's, and I kept thinking that Pappy's, for whatever reason, I still think Pappy's is somehow connected to the house. I don't know why. It's just a gut feeling. It probably is just wrong, but I have to throw it out there because it's in my gut. And then I just find it odd that happened in 2000. When did that happen? In 2013, late 2013, maybe early 2014 with the teacher. And this is just like 6 months to a year before we have a teacher has drugs and $13,000 in cash at the school. And this is Ken Hennigan. He's 56 years old, and he was employed at Charlestown Middle School. This is in Indiana. Why did he pull up on this one? Hold on here. There's got to be something in here because I did my search here for that. Hold on a second. Let me look and see. I don't know why this pulled up. This is Indiana. This doesn't even make sense. So never mind. That didn't even. I was reading that, and something just told me that was Indiana, and I don't think that had anything to do with it. Accused of bribe. Oh, here it is. I grabbed the wrong article. Is what it was. I grabbed the wrong article. Sorry about that. Let me pull this one up. I just dropped it. And this one's in a district just a little bit further. Oh, I see PJ. I see PJ in the house. Sorry about that. What's up here? Did I get it? Okay. And so this one's on the just on the back, on the outskirts. From my understanding, this is in Louisville. I don't know how far away that is, but this is an employee accused of accepting bribe and smuggling drugs into the facility. And so I was thinking, because we have had other teachers, especially that Pappy's Van Winkle, it was stolen late. It looks like the bourbon heist was October. So it was like 4 months, about 4 months after the death of Jason Ellis. And then we also have 6 charged with, and I don't know if they have the photos. They didn't have the photos on them, so I couldn't gauge whether this is associated with it. And it's also coming out of Louisville of huge marijuana. So we do have drugs in the area, but I have a funny feeling for whatever reason, this is with the pipeline coming from Florida to Kentucky, both Jason Ellis and Nick Houck being on the same police force, it makes me wonder if maybe Nick was being paid to look the other way while they were coming through the community, because he had the shift of 4 to 2 a.m. I would think that would be the time, he had the shift with the time of people wanting to move stuff like this in the middle of the night. So I just keep wondering, it keeps coming back to the pills. And that's what I had said the other day, there's this pill element here in this community, and it stretches beyond the borders of that community as well. And then in addition to that, you have the bourbon heist. Now, I don't know if the bourbon heist has anything to do with the Houcks at all. It just seems really, really convenient that it only happened 4 months after the death of this man, and the person that they charged with it. They never found the barrels of the rare. They've never recovered the bourbon, and it was $100,000 booty, right? It was $100,000. It was worth $100,000. So you're not talking about a little bit of money. You're talking about a lot of money. And it's kind of hard for me to believe that the guy that they thought did the robbery, he's got barrels. It looked like he did it, but when they tested the barrels, it was very clear those barrels were filled with wild turkey. They were not filled with Pappy Van Winkle bourbon or the rare bourbon that's almost $11,000 to $12,000 per barrel. That is some expensive stuff. So if he didn't have the booze, it's hard to get rid of booze like that on the black market. I mean, you can get rid of it, but it takes a little minute unless you already have a buyer ready. So I keep thinking that the Houcks are involved in this. The pill mill was shut down, but it looked like they were starting something back up, pill shopping in their own community. But there's definitely a link here. I absolutely do not believe this has anything to do with storage units. I do not believe this has anything to do with high-end thefts of businesses, antiques, or theft of drugs. I think this is just a regular organized crime to get and distribute drugs. That's what I think it is. And so for some reason, I just keep thinking that whole pipeline thing has something to do with it. And I just keep thinking, for whatever reason, that, in one of their nights, that they were talking, maybe he was investigating something. Maybe him and Nick actually sat down to eat dinner together or something, and they were just shooting the breeze, and they were talking about, work and maybe some of the work projects, not even knowing that Nick was involved. And maybe he sealed his own fate by accidentally slipping up to Nick. I mean, it is possible. Does any of this make this fact? No, it doesn't make fact. This is just opinion. This is just really speculating. I'm just trying to give you guys some information about what was going on in and around the time that Jason Ellis lost his life, because he was ambushed. We're not talking about him getting hit by a car. We're not talking about him getting struck with a stray bullet. We're not talking about a crime of passion or a crime of opportunity. We're talking about a well-planned and well-executed execution of a police officer. There's a reason. So that's kind of my spiel for today, guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful Friday. I will probably be back later this evening. I'm still kind of looking into all of this stuff here. But I want to look into some other cases too, because this one, I have a funny feeling we're going to be learning some new stuff. I think we're going to have some groundbreaking information coming out in the next week that's going to paint a better picture for us. Are we going to get the whole picture painted for us? I don't believe we're going to get the whole picture painted for us. No, I do not. But I do believe we're going to be one step closer into finding out what truly happened, what at least what law enforcement believes happened to Crystal, what they believe happened to Tommy, and ultimately, I think it's going to lead to what truly happened to Jason Ellis. I do pray that each and every one of them get justice. We might dive into the Netherlands case, and here's why. I feel kind of bad for the Netherlands case because I feel like it's not connected at all to this case, but they're still homicide victims, and they still need justice, and they've still gone without justice almost as long as Jason Ellis. Jason obviously takes the cake. He's been gone since 2013. The Netherlands, 2014. Crystal, 2015. And her father, 2016. Am I correct on that? Yeah. One death a year, 2013, 14, 15, and 16. That's a deadly little few years there for Bardstown, for a little 13,000 population town. It's a little cray-cray. A little cray-cray. Oh, I've got a video here. What's this video? Did I play everything that I was going to play? I think I did. Yeah, I think I did. And I don't really have anything else. And I told you guys about Michael. Michael's lucky to be alive. I'm just still in awe about all that. So Timothy Sizemore was the drugstore owner that was. It says here that he bought the store in 2010. Admitted over the next 2 years he created fraudulent prescriptions, then billed private entities and government for them. I still think that this is connected somehow, because a 2010 pharmacy purchase, and the first thing that the owner starts doing is manufacturing prescriptions. It sounds like he wanted to get into the profitable biz of addicting our country. Is there anything else? Did I miss anything? So just to give the floor, I'm going to keep the chat open just a few moments. If anybody has anything to add, would anybody like to call in or speak about this publicly? If you have some insight or some information, or would like to clarify anything. If so, let me know that you want the phones open. I'll open the phones up and let you call. But if not, then I'm just going to go ahead and tap out and start working on this afternoon's show. How do you get my email? Coffee Clubbers. By the way, I put the like up. You always take the underdog. If you're wondering if you haven't taken the test, we do have our test basically telling you guys. I'm going to go ahead and hit a commercial since we're at the end of our show. So the people that got a commercial, thank you for participating. But it always says, I think today I put, what did I put on today? On the BHB button or on my butt? Where should your DNA be? On my butt or on my BHB like button? I try to, spice it up a little bit. Okay, I have a dry sense of humor. Bullhorn Betty. What do you expect? This is me. You guys have a great Friday. Don't make it a great day. Guys, because of everything going on with the Idaho 4, Layla Santinello, everybody that's struggling, if you have an opportunity to do an act of kindness for a perfect stranger, I definitely encourage that you do so. It does good to do good. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be kind to each other. Please be kind. Please be safe. Please be safe and kind. Okay, safe and kind. It does good to do good. Okay, we want the chat boxes to be filled with love, not hate. Okay, so don't be a dick. Be nice. It's Christmas time. Everybody has a reason to be thankful right now. So let's be thankful and let's pray for those that are struggling this holiday season. And a lot of the people that we cover here are going their holiday season. This is the second one for the Gonzalez, unfortunately. But this is the first one for Layla, as well as Holland Snap's parents and all the other missing endangered people across this country. So please keep them in your prayers as we gear up for the holiday season. Guys, God bless each and every one of you, and we'll see you soon.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube.
breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.